Hello, welcome. I am glad you are here. You have just made one of the best decisions of your life. You have decided to improve your English speaking. And today, we are going to do exactly that. Together, step by step, in a way that is easy, enjoyable, and genuinely useful for your life. My name is your English teacher, and for the next 2 hours, I'm going to walk with you through a complete English speaking program. This program is designed for 3 kinds of learners. First, ESL students. People who use English as a second language in daily life, at work or at school. Secondly, people preparing for the International English language testing system, where speaking is tested directly. And third, TOEFL students. People preparing for the test of English's A. Foreign language, where you must speak clearly, fluently, and with good structure. If you are any of these 3, you are in exactly the right place. Now, before we begin, I want to tell you something important. You do not need to be perfect to speak English well. Say that sentence with me right now. Say it out loud. I do not need to be perfect to speak English well. Say it one more time. I do not need to be perfect to speak English well. Good. That is the first truth of this entire program. Fluency is not about perfection. Fluency is about communication. It is about expressing your thoughts clearly enough that another person understands you, and that you can absolutely do. Let us begin. Section 2, warming up your mouth. Before we speak full sentences, we need to warm up our mouths. Just like a singer warms up their voice before a concert, we warm up our speaking muscles before a lesson. This takes just a few minutes and makes a real difference to how natural and confident you sound. Repeat each sound after me. I will say each one. Then you say it. The, think, there. The TH sound is one of the most difficult sounds for English learners. Many languages in the world do not have this sound, but you can absolutely learn it. Place your tongue gently between your top teeth and your bottom teeth. Blow air out softly. That is the TH sound. Let's try a few more words. This, that, these, those, think, thought, through, 3. Say all of those again. This, that, these, those, think, thought, through, 3. Beautiful. Now let us try some vowel sounds. Speak, school, clear, learn, improve. Now say this full sentence slowly and clearly. I speak English clearly every single day. Say it again, this time a little faster. I speak English clearly every single day. And one more time, natural speed. Confident voice. I speak English clearly every single day. Your mouth is warm. Your voice is ready. Let us move forward together. Section 3, confidence and mindset. Before we learn any phrases or grammar, we need to talk about the single biggest obstacle that stops English learners from speaking. It is not vocabulary. It is not grammar. It is not even pronunciation. It is fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of sounding strange, fear of being judged by other people. Let me tell you something true about fear. Every single English speaker you admire felt that same fear when they were learning. Every single one of them. The difference between the people who became fluent and the people who stayed stuck was not intelligence. It was not natural talent. It was simply this. The fluent speakers spoke anyway. Even when they were afraid, even when they made mistakes, they opened their mouths and they tried. And every single time they tried, they got a little better. So today I'm going to ask you to make one simple promise to yourself. Say this with me right now. I will speak English today, even if I make mistakes. Say it again and mean it. I will speak English today, even if I make mistakes. Now say this one. Every mistake I make is proof that I am learning. And one more, I am not afraid of English. English is my friend. Hold those three thoughts in your mind throughout this entire lesson. Now let me teach you three powerful habits that all confident English speakers share. These are habits you can start using today in real conversations. Habit number one, they focus on communication, not correction. When a confident speaker makes a grammar mistake, they do not stop talking. They keep going. Why? Because the goal of speaking is to be understood, not to be grammatically perfect every single second. When you make a mistake while speaking, use these two phrases to keep going. Let me say that again. Say it with me. Let me say that again. Or this one. What I mean is. These two phrases are pure gold. They give you time to think. They show the other person that you are engaged and thoughtful. And they are completely natural. Native speakers use them all the time. Habit number two, they prepare phrases, not individual words. Many students try to build sentences one word at a time inside their heads. This is extremely slow and extremely stressful. Confident speakers use ready-made phrases, groups of words that naturally belong together. Listen to these. I was wondering if, could you possibly, the thing is, as far as I know, to be honest with you, these are called chunks of language. When you memorize chunks instead of single words, your speaking becomes faster, smoother, and much more natural. Say each chunk after me now. I was wondering if, could you possibly, the thing is, as far as I know, to be honest with you. Excellent. Those 5 chunks alone will make your English sound immediately more natural. Use them every single day. Habit number 3, they embrace the thinking pause. A short pause before answering is not a weakness. It is a sign of a thoughtful, intelligent speaker. When someone asks you a question in English and you need a moment to think, do not panic. Do not say, for 10 seconds. Instead, use one of these natural thinking phrases. That is a great question. Let me think about that. Say it with me. That is a great question. Let me think about that. Or this one. Let me see. Say it. Let me see. Or this one. That is an interesting point. I would say it. That is an interesting point. I would say, for students especially, these phrases are extremely valuable. Your examiner is not judging you on speed. They are judging you on clarity, fluency, and coherence. A thoughtful pause with a confident filler phrase will always score higher than a rushed and confused answer. You now have a strong confidence foundation. Let us build on it. Section 4, Everyday Greetings and Small Talk. Small talk is a short, light conversation we have with people every single day. With colleagues, with neighbors, with new people we meet at a party, with classmates before a lesson begins. For many learners, small talk feels like the most difficult kind of English because it is unscripted. You do not always know what the other person will say next. But here is the secret. Small talk actually follows very predictable patterns. And once you know those patterns, you will feel comfortable in almost any social situation. Let us start with greetings. I will give you phrases at 3 different levels: formal, everyday, and casual. Formal greetings. Use these in professional settings or with people you do not know well. Good morning. How do you do? Say it. Good morning. How do you do? Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to meet you. Say it. Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to meet you. Good evening. I am very glad to be here. Say it. Good evening. I am very glad to be here. Now, everyday greetings. These are the ones you will use most often in daily life. Hi. How are you? Say it. Hi. How are you? Hello. How have you been? Say it. Hello. How have you been? Hey. Good to see you. Say it. Hey. Good to see you. How is everything going? Say it. How is everything going? Now, casual greetings. Use these with friends or in relaxed, informal settings. What is up? Say it. What is up? How is it going? Say it. How is it going? Long time no see. Say it. Long time no see. Now, the greeting is only the beginning. After the greeting comes the actual conversation. And small talk conversations follow a simple three-part pattern. Part 1, an opening question or comment. Part 2, a genuine response with one small extra detail. Part 3, turning the question back to the other person. Let me show you this pattern in action. Listen to this natural conversation about the weekend. Person A says, "Hey, how was your weekend?" Person B says, "It was really nice. Thank you. I went to the farmer's market on Saturday. Have you ever been?" Person A says, "I have not actually. What is it like?" Person B says, "Oh, it is wonderful. Lots of fresh food and handmade crafts. You should definitely check it out sometime." Person A says, "That sounds lovely. I might do that next weekend." Did you notice what person B did? They answered the question, added one small interesting detail, and then asked a question back. That is the engine of small talk. Respond warmly, add one small detail, then ask one question back. Simple, powerful, use it every time. Now, let us practice another conversation. This one is about the weather. The weather is the most classic small talk topic in English-speaking countries. Do not underestimate it. It opens thousands of conversations. Person A says, "Lovely day today, is it not?" Person B says, "It really is. I was not expecting sunshine at all." Person A says, "Neither was I. I almost brought my umbrella." Person B says, "Ha, I know that feeling. Are you headed somewhere nice?" Person A says, "Just to the office, unfortunately. But at least the walk is pleasant today." Now one more conversation, this time about work and study. Person A says, "So, what do you do for work?" Person B says, "I am an English teacher, actually. I teach online at a local school in the city." Person A says, "Oh, that sounds really rewarding. Do you enjoy it?" Person B says, "I love it. Every class is completely different. What about you? What keeps you busy?" Person A says, "I am studying for my exam at the moment. It is intense, but exciting." Person B says, "Well, you are doing exactly the right thing. Hard work really does pay off. Did you hear that phrase? What about you?" This is one of the most important phrases in English conversation. It shows genuine interest in the other person. It keeps the conversation balanced, and it takes the pressure off you to keep talking alone. Say it now. What about you? Say it again. What about you? And this version. And how about you? And how about you? Use these phrases every single day. They are friendship builders in every English-speaking country in the world. Section 5, Introducing Yourself Fluently. In speaking tests, the examiner will often begin with a question that sounds something like this. "Can you tell me a little about yourself?" Or sometimes, "Let us start with some questions about you and your background." This is your opening moment, and if you are prepared for it, it instantly creates a warm and confident first impression for everything that follows. I am going to teach you a 4-part self-introduction framework. It is called a name, place, work, passion framework. Part 1 is your name. My name is, or more naturally, everyone calls me, or in a formal setting, I go by. Part 2 is your place. I am originally from, but I currently live in, or I grew up in the northern part of the country, or I have been living here for about 3 years now. Part 3 is your work or study. I work at a company in the city. Or, I am currently studying at university. I am in my 2nd year. Or, I recently completed my degree and I am now looking for opportunities in. Part 4 is your passion. In my free time, I really enjoy it. Or, one thing I am very passionate about is, or, outside of work, I love it especially. Now, let me put all four parts together in one natural, flowing example. Listen carefully to the rhythm. Notice how each part connects smoothly to the next one. Hi, my name is Sarah. I am originally from South Korea, but I have been living in London for the past 3 years. I work as a graphic designer at a small creative agency in the city center. I have been in the design field for about 5 years now, and I really enjoy the creative challenges it brings every day. Outside of work, I am quite passionate about learning languages. English, of course, but also a little French. I also love hiking, and I try to spend at least 1 weekend a month out in nature. It is really lovely to meet you. Did you notice that the introduction was warm and specific? It had a real personality. It did not just list dry facts. It gave a picture of a genuine human being. That is what makes an introduction memorable, both in an exam and in real life. Now it is your turn. I want you to prepare your own introduction using the name, place, work, passion framework. Write it down if you like. Then speak it out loud at least twice. Make it truly yours. How did that feel? A little uncomfortable, perhaps? A little strange? That is completely normal. The first time we speak about ourselves in English feels a bit odd, but the 10th time it feels natural. The 100th time it feels like breathing. Practice that introduction every single day. In the mirror, in the shower, on your way to work or school. Make it yours. Own it completely. Section 6 grammar you actually need. Now, we're going to talk about grammar, but not the grammar of textbooks. We're going to learn the grammar that comes out of your mouth naturally when you are having a real conversation. The grammar you need for daily speaking and other tasks. We will focus on 3 tenses: present, past, and future. That is it. Grammar Area 1. Talking about the present. When we describe our lives, our habits, and our current situations, we use 2 tenses: the present simple and the present continuous. The present simple is for habits and facts that are regularly true. I study English every morning. Say it. I study English every morning. She works in a hospital in Dubai. Say it. She works in a hospital in Dubai. We always have dinner together as a family. Say it. We always have dinner together as a family. Now the present continuous. This is for things happening right now or around this particular time in your life. I am currently preparing for my exam. Say it. I am currently preparing for my exam. She is working on a very big project this month. Say it. She is working on a very big project this month. They are renovating their house at the moment. Say it. They are renovating their house at the moment. Notice the time signals I used. Currently, this month, at the moment. These words are key signals for the present continuous. Here are more. One after me. Currently, right now, these days, at the moment, this week, this year. Grammar Area 2. Talking about the past. The past simple tense is one of the most important tenses for speaking fluently. Let's practice together. I will give you the full sentence. You repeat it. Yesterday, I went to the library and studied for 3 hours. Say it. Yesterday, I went to the library and studied for 3 hours. Last week, I saw a really interesting documentary about climate change. Say it. Last week, I saw a really interesting documentary about climate change. A few years ago, I met my closest friend at university. We have been inseparable ever since. Say it. A few years ago, I met my closest friend at university. We have been inseparable ever since. I decided to start learning English seriously when I was 16 years old. Say it. I decided to start learning English seriously when I was 16 years old. Now here's a very powerful speaking structure for exams. It is the past to present connection. You describe something in the past, and then you connect it to who you are right now. Listen to this example. When I was a child, I was quite shy, but over the years, I have become much more confident, especially when speaking in front of other people. Say it. When I was a child, I was quite shy, but over the years, I have become much more confident, especially when speaking in front of other people. Now this one, I used to find English grammar very difficult, but now I genuinely enjoy the challenge of learning new structures. Say it. I used to find English grammar very difficult, but now I genuinely enjoy the challenge of learning new structures. Notice the phrases. Used to, over the years, but now. These are connectors. They show change over time. They show personal growth. Examiners love them. Use them as often as you can. Grammar Area 3. Talking about the future. There are 3 common ways to speak about the future in English, and each one has a slightly different meaning. Well, it's for predictions and decisions you make spontaneously. I think English will open many doors for me in the future. Say it. I think English will open many doors for me in the future. I will definitely practice my speaking tonight. Say it. I will definitely practice my speaking tonight. Going to is for plans you have already made and decided. I am going to apply for a job in Canada next year. Say it. I am going to apply for a job in Canada next year. She is going to take her test in March. Say it. She is going to take her test in March. The present continuous for future is for fixed arrangements already in place. I am meeting my tutor on Friday afternoon. Say it. I am meeting my tutor on Friday afternoon. We are flying to New York next month. Say it. We are flying to New York next month. Now, let us put all 3 tenses together in one beautiful flowing answer. This is exactly the kind of answer that scores at the highest levels in exams. The question is, how do you see your life changing in the next few years? Listen to this model answer. Well, at the moment I am working as an accountant, but I have always had a deep passion for education. When I was at university, I used to volunteer as a tutor for younger students, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. So going forward, I am planning to complete a teaching qualification. I am actually going to start the application process next month. I think that in 5 years from now, I will be working as a full-time teacher, and I genuinely believe it will be one of the best decisions I have ever made. Do you see all 3 tenses working together naturally? Present, past, future. That answer used the present continuous. The past simple used to, going to, and will, all naturally, all in one short and beautiful response. That is fluency. That is exactly what we are building today. Section 7, Real Life Conversation Practice. This section is pure conversation practice. Real situations, the kind you will encounter in daily life, in job settings, and in English-speaking countries. Listen to each full conversation first. Then I will teach you the most important phrases from it. Conversation 1. At a doctor's office. Doctor, good morning. Come in and take a seat. How can I help you today? Patient, good morning, doctor. I have not been feeling well for the past few days. I have a headache, a sore throat, and I feel quite tired. Doctor, I see. How long have you had these symptoms exactly? Patient, since Tuesday, so about 4 days now. Doctor, and have you had a fever at all? Patient, I am not sure. I do not have a thermometer at home, but I have been feeling quite warm. Doctor, okay, I am going to check your temperature and have a look at your throat. Have you taken any medication so far? Patient, just some paracetamol to help with the headache. Doctor, that is fine. It sounds like you may have a mild viral infection. I will prescribe plenty of rest, lots of fluids, and a throat spray. If things do not improve in 3 days, please come back to see me. Patient, thank you very much, doctor. I really appreciate it. Now, let us focus on the patient's language. These are phrases you can use in any doctor's appointment, in any English-speaking country. I have not been feeling well for. Say it. I have not been feeling well for. I have had these symptoms since. Say it. I have had these symptoms since. I am not entirely sure, but. Say it. I am not entirely sure, but. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Say it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Conversation 2. A job interview in English. Interviewer. Thank you for coming in today. Can you start by telling me a little about your professional background? Candidate. Of course. I have been working in marketing for the past 6 years, primarily in digital content. My most recent role was at a technology company, where I led a team of 4 people and managed all of our social media channels. I am particularly proud of the campaign I designed last year that increased our online engagement by 40% in just 3 months. Interviewer. That is impressive. What would you say is your greatest? Professional strength? Candidate. I would say my greatest strength is my ability to communicate clearly with all kinds of people. Whether I am presenting to senior management or collaborating with a junior team member, I adapt my communication style to suit the person and the situation. I believe this skill has been especially important in my career because marketing is ultimately about human connection. Interviewer, what about weaknesses? Is there an area you are actively working to improve? Candidate, honestly, I used to struggle with delegating tasks. I had a tendency to want to do everything myself to make sure it was done exactly right. But over the past year, I have been very intentional about trusting my team and allowing them to take full ownership of their projects. It has actually made our entire team much more effective and much more motivated. Did you notice the candidate's answer to the weakness question? It followed a perfect 3-part structure. First, acknowledge the weakness honestly. Second, explain how it showed up in the past. Third, describe a positive change you have made. This structure works beautifully in job interviews. It works in all speaking. Exams. Conversation 3. Making a polite complaint. Customer. Excuse me, I am sorry to bother you, but I ordered my meal about 40 minutes ago and it still has not arrived. Could you look into that for me, please? Staff. Oh, I do apologize for the wait. Let me check on that right away. Can I take your table number, please? Customer. Yes, I am at table 7. Staff. Thank you so much. I am very sorry about this. It appears there was a mix-up in the kitchen. Your order will be ready in about 5 minutes. As an apology, I would like to offer you a complimentary dessert. Customer, that is very kind of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. The key language for making polite complaints in English is this. I am sorry to bother you, but. Say it. I am sorry to bother you, but. I was wondering if you could. Say it. I was wondering if you could. Could you look into that for me? Say it. Could you look into that for me? I would really appreciate it if. Say it. I would really appreciate it if. In English culture, politeness and calmness are powerful tools, even in frustrating situations. The calmer and more polite you are, the more effective you will always be. This is true in daily life, and it is true in every speaking examination. Section 8 IELTS Speaking Parts 1, 2, and 3. The IELTS speaking test lasts between 11 and 14 minutes. It is a face-to-face interview with a trained examiner. There are 3 parts, and each part has a different purpose. Let me walk you through all 3 parts with model answers and the key techniques that earn the highest band scores. IELTS Speaking Part 1. Introduction and Interview. In Part 1, the examiner asks you general questions about familiar topics. Your hometown, your job, your hobbies, your daily routine. These questions are not difficult, but many students give answers that are far too short, 1 or 2 words. This loses marks. The secret is simple. Always extend your answer. Give one reason or one small, extra detail. Use this structure. Answer, then reason, then example. Let me show you the difference. A short and weak answer sounds like this. Question: do you enjoy cooking? Answer: yes, I like cooking. That is it. There is nothing for the examiner to score you on. Now listen to an extended and strong answer to the exact same question. Yes, I really enjoy cooking. I find it incredibly relaxing after a long day. At work, my favorite thing to make at the moment is pasta. I have been experimenting with different sauces recently, and my friends say it is getting quite good. Do you hear the difference? The second answer has a personal reason and a specific detail. That is what earns marks. Let us practice another question. Question: what kind of music do you listen to? Here is a strong model answer. I listen to quite a wide variety of music, actually. It really depends on my mood. When I am working or studying, I prefer something calm and instrumental like classical music or lo-fi beats. But when I am exercising or going out with friends, I love upbeat pop and rhythm and blues. Music is honestly a big part of my daily life. Notice that answer use a contrast. When I am studying, but when I am exercising. Contrast shows sophisticated thinking, and examiners always reward sophisticated thinking. IELTS Speaking Part 2, the long turn. In Part 2, you receive a task card. You have 1 minute to prepare your thoughts. Then you must speak for 1 to 2 minutes on the topic. This is the part that worries many students the most, but it does not have to. The key is to have a clear structure ready in your mind before you begin. Use this 4-part structure for almost any Part 2 topic. Part 1. Introduce the subject. Name it and give one key detail. Part 2. Describe it vividly. Use rich and specific language. Part 3. Explain why it is meaningful or significant to you personally. Part 4. Reflect on it. What did you learn? How does it still connect to your life today? Here is a sample task card. Describe a book or film that made a strong impression on you. You should say what it was when you encountered it, what it was about, and explain why it made such a strong impression on you. Listen to this model answer. The book that has made the strongest impression on me is a novel called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I first read it when I was about 17 years old during a summer holiday. The story follows a young shepherd boy from Spain who dreams of finding treasure in Egypt. But the journey is really about so much more than treasure. It is about following your heart, listening to your instincts, and having the courage to pursue your own purpose in life. What made it so powerful for me personally was the timing. I was at a crossroads in my life. I did not know what to study or what direction to take. Reading that book made me feel that it was okay not to have all the answers, as long as I kept moving forward with belief and with courage. Even now, years later, I think about that book whenever I face a difficult decision. It genuinely changed the way I look at challenges and opportunities. I would recommend it to absolutely anyone without hesitation. That answer was approximately 90 seconds long. It had a clear beginning, a vivid middle, and an emotional conclusion. It used past tense to describe the story and the experience, and present tense to reflect on how it still affects the speaker today. That is Band 7 to Band 8 speaking. Learn that structure, and it will serve you for life. IELTS Speaking Part 3. The discussion. Part 3 is a two-way discussion with your examiner. The questions are more abstract, more philosophical. They ask you to explore ideas about society, trends, and complex human issues. Here is the key language for Part 3 that you should practice every day. In my opinion. Say it. In my opinion. I strongly believe that. Say it. I strongly believe that. From my perspective. Say it. From my perspective. On the one hand, but on the other hand. Say it. On the one hand, but on the other hand. It depends very much on the situation. For example. Say it. It depends very much on the situation. For example. Some people argue that. However, I would say. Say it. Some people argue that. However, I would say. Research suggests that. Say it. Research suggests that. It is quite a complex issue, but I tend to think. Say it. It is quite a complex issue, but I tend to think. Now, let me show you a complete Part 3 answer. Question. Do you think schools should focus more on teaching practical life skills rather than academic subjects? Here is a strong model answer. That is a really interesting question, and I think it is something that many educators are actively debating right now. On the one hand, I do believe that schools have a genuine responsibility to prepare young people for real life. Skills like financial literacy, effective communication, and mental health awareness are arguably more useful in day-to-day life than, say, memorizing historical dates for an exam. However, I also think that academic subjects develop critical thinking, creativity, and deep knowledge, and those qualities are absolutely foundational for a person's long-term development. The issue is perhaps not really one versus the other. It is about finding the right balance between the two. Personally, I would love to see schools integrate practical life skills into the existing curriculum rather than replacing academic subjects entirely. I think that approach would give young people the very best of both worlds. That answer was balanced. It considered both sides of the argument. It had a clear and confident personal opinion, and it ended with a constructive and forward-thinking solution. That structure works for almost any Part 3 question. Balanced, opinionated, constructive. Use it every time. Section 9 TOEFL Speaking Tasks. The TOEFL speaking section has 4 tasks in total. You speak into a microphone, and your responses are recorded and scored by trained raters. I am going to focus on the 2 task types that students find most challenging: the independent task and the integrated task. TOEFL speaking. The independent task. You are given a question. You have 15 seconds to prepare your thoughts. Then you speak for 45 seconds. The question asks for your personal opinion or your personal preference on a topic. The key structure for independent tasks is this: point, reason, example, restate. 1 clear and confident point. 1 strong supporting reason. 1 specific, personal example. Then restate your point to close. 45 seconds. Keep it tight. Keep it clear. Keep it focused. Here is a sample question. Some people prefer to live in a big city. Others prefer a small town. Which do you prefer and why? Here is a strong model response. Time at approximately 45 seconds. Personally, I strongly prefer living in a big city. The main reason is opportunity. In a large city, there are far more career options, cultural events, and chances to meet interesting people from completely different backgrounds. For example, I currently live in a city with a population of about 2 million people, and every single week I have access to art exhibitions, language exchange groups, professional networking events, and incredible international restaurants. My life feels genuinely rich and stimulating. For all these reasons, the energy and opportunity of city life suits me far better than the quieter pace of a small town. Notice the word personally at the very beginning. This signals immediately to the rater that your opinion is coming. It is a strong, clear opening word. Notice also that the response is completely focused. 1 point, 1 reason, 1 example. No rambling, no hesitation. Direct and confident. TOEFL speaking. the integrated task. In integrated task 3, you read a short passage and listen to a lecture. Then you must summarize the relationship between the two sources. The key language for integrated tasks is this. Practice each phrase. According to the reading passage. Say it. According to the reading passage. The professor explains that. Say it. The professor explains that. This supports the idea that. Say it. This supports the idea that. However, the lecture challenges a claim that. Say it. However, the lecture challenges a claim that. The professor uses the example of to illustrate. Say it. The professor uses the example of to illustrate. In contrast to the reading, the lecture argues. Say it. In contrast to the reading, the lecture argues. These connecting phrases show the reader that you understand both sources and that you can link them together in a clear and organized way. Practice until they feel completely natural in your mouth. Section 10 Vocabulary for Fluent Speaking. One of the most common questions I hear from students is this. How do I sound? More natural when I speak English? The answer is almost always vocabulary. Not more vocabulary. Better vocabulary. I want to teach you 4 categories of words and phrases that will make your speaking sound more fluent and more educated. Starting today, Category 1, Discourse Markers. These are the words and phrases that connect your sentences and guide the listener through your thinking. Without them, your speech sounds choppy and disconnected. With them, it flows beautifully. First of all, use this to introduce your first point. Say it. First of all. Furthermore. Use this to add another important point. Say it. Furthermore. In addition to this. Use this to add more supporting information. Say it. In addition to this. However. Use this to introduce a contrast. Say it. However. As a result. Use this to show a consequence or an outcome. Say it. As a result. In other words. Use this to clarify or simplify what you just said. Say it. In other words. To sum up. Use this to conclude your point. Say it. To sum up. Now say all 7 in a row without stopping. First of all. Furthermore. In addition to this. However. As a result. In other words. To sum up. Beautiful. Use those 7 phrases every time you speak, and your English will sound immediately more organized and more sophisticated. Category 2. Hedging language. Hedging means softening a statement to make it more careful and more academic. Native speakers hedge constantly without even realizing it. It seems to me that. Say it. It seems to me that. I tend to think that. Say it. I tend to think that. It could be argued that. Say it. It could be argued that. There's a possibility that. Say it. There's a possibility that. In most cases. Say it. In most cases. Hedging language is powerful in exams and independent tasks because it shows you understand that ideas are complex and nuanced. Category 3. Descriptive and precise vocabulary. Great speakers paint clear pictures with their words. Instead of saying nice, say remarkable or delightful or extraordinary. Instead of bad, say devastating or alarming or deeply concerning. Let me replace some flat and common words with much better alternatives. Instead of nice, say remarkable, delightful, extraordinary, charming. Instead of bad, say devastating, dreadful, alarming, troubling. Instead of big, say enormous, substantial, vast, significant. Instead of happy, say thrilled, overjoyed, deeply content, genuinely satisfied. Instead of interesting, say fascinating, thought-provoking, compelling, eye-opening. Category 4. Thinking and filler phrases. These are the phrases that give you time to think without sounding lost or panicked. Every fluent speaker in the world uses them. And now you will too. Let me think about that for a moment. Say it. Let me think about that for a moment. That is a thought-provoking question. Say it. That is a thought-provoking question. I have not thought about it quite that way before. But, say it. I have not thought about it quite that way before. But, what I mean to say is, say it. What I mean to say is, if I understand the question correctly, say it. If I understand the question correctly, use these in your exam when you need a moment to gather your thoughts. Use them in conversation when you need a natural breath. They are professional, they are natural, and they are genuinely impressive to listen to. Section 11, Pronunciation, Masterclass. Pronunciation is one of the 4 scoring criteria in both IELTS and TOEFL. Speaking. The good news is that you do not need a perfect British or American accent. You need to be clear, consistent, and easy to understand. Let us work on the 3 areas that make the single biggest difference. Area 1, word stress. In English, every word of more than 1 syllable has 1 stress syllable. Stress the wrong syllable, and the word becomes almost unrecognizable to a native speaker. Listen carefully and repeat. The stress syllable will be slightly louder and a little longer than the others. Photograph. Say it. Photograph. Photography. Say it. Photography. Photographic. Say it. Photographic. Notice how the stress moved as the word form changed. This is called the stress shift rule, and it affects hundreds of academic and professional words. In English, let's try another set. Economy. Say it. Economy. Economic. Say it. Economic. Economical. Say it. Economical. Area 2. Sentence stress. In English, we do not stress every word equally. We stress the content words, the words that carry the most meaning, and we reduce the grammar words. Listen to the sentence and notice which words carry the stress. I want to go to the library and study for my exam. The stress words want library, study, exam. The reduced words are to the end, for my. This is a natural English rhythm. Without it, your speech sounds flat and robotic. With it, you sound natural and genuinely fluent. Let us practice. Repeat this sentence with natural and confident stress. I think that learning English is one of the best decisions I have ever made. Say it again and really feel which words carry the weight of meaning. I think that learning English is one of the best decisions I have ever made. Area 3, connected speech. Native speakers do not speak one individual word at a time. They connect words together smoothly in a continuous flow. This is called connected speech. Here are the most common patterns. Linking. When a word ends in a consonant sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound, they link together and sound like one word. An apple sounds like a napple. Turn it on sounds like turn-I-ton. Reduction. Common phrases are shortened and reduced in natural everyday speech. Wanna sounds like wanna. Gonna sounds like gonna. Have to sounds like have to. A lotta sounds like a lotta. Say each one. Wanna, gonna, have to, a lotta. These reductions are perfectly correct and completely natural in conversational English. You will hear them from every native speaker every single day. You do not need to use them yourself, but you absolutely must recognize and understand them when you hear them. Now practice these natural connected phrases. I want to get better at English every single day. Say it. I want to get better at English every single day. She is going to take her test next month. Say it. She is going to take her test next month. We have to practice speaking as much as possible. Say it. We have to practice speaking as much as possible. Section 12 Daily Habits for Lifelong Fluency. You can have the best teacher in the world. You can study the best materials. That money can buy. But none of it, absolutely none of it, matters if you do not practice every single day. Fluency is not a destination you arrive at once and stay forever. It is a daily practice. It is a living habit. And like all habits, the key is to make it easy, enjoyable, and above all consistent. I am going to give you a simple daily English speaking routine. It takes just 20 minutes, but done every single day without exception, it will change your English speaking forever. Minutes 1 to 5. The morning voice warm-up. As soon as you wake up in the morning, before you speak to anyone else, speak to yourself in English for 5 full minutes. Talk about your plans for the day ahead. Describe the room you are sitting in. Retell a dream you had the night before. Comment on the weather outside your window. It does not matter what you talk about. What matters is that you're very first. Spoken words of the day are in English. This trains your brain to switch into English mode immediately, naturally, and without effort. Minutes 6 to 10. Phrase practice. Choose 3 phrases from your learning materials. Say each one 10 times. Then use each phrase and sentence. Then use it in a small imaginary conversation with yourself. Today you have learned dozens of powerful phrases. Choose your 3 favorites right now. Those are your phrases for tomorrow morning. Minutes 11 to 15. Shadowing. Find a short audio clip in English, a TED Talk, a YouTube video, a podcast, a news broadcast, absolutely anything. Play it and repeat each sentence. Immediately after the speaker, try to copy their rhythm, their stress, their intonation, and their natural flow. This technique is called shadowing. It is one of the most powerful pronunciation and fluency tools ever discovered by language researchers. Professional polyglots and language learners around the world swear by it. Minutes 16 to 20. Free speaking. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Then speak in English without stopping. Tell a story from your week. Give your honest opinion on a topic in the news. Describe your dream holiday in vivid detail. Explain your career goals and your reason for having them. Do not worry about mistakes. Do not stop to look up a word. Just speak. Keep speaking. Flow right through the mistakes and keep going. This 5-minute free speaking practice will train your fluency muscles more than any grammar exercise, any vocabulary list, or any textbook exercise ever could. 20 minutes every single day. That is your commitment from today forward. We have reached the end of our time together. And what a journey it has been. You warmed up your mouth and your voice. You built a confident and fearless mindset. You practice greetings and natural small talk. You learn how to introduce yourself beautifully and memorably. You practice grammar that works in real conversations. You heard and repeated real-life dialogues in English. You prepared specific answers for speaking tasks. You expanded your vocabulary with powerful and precise language. You worked on your pronunciation, your stress, and your connected speech. And you now have a clear and simple daily 20-minute routine to carry your progress forward every single day. That is not a small thing. That is everything you need. I want to leave you with one final thought. Language is connection. Every single time you open your mouth and speak English, you are reaching across culture, across background, across distance, across the entire world to connect with another human being. That is something remarkable. That is something worth every difficult moment, every embarrassing mistake, and every frustrating plateau. The fact that you are here, listening, learning, and practicing right now That says something true and important about who you are. You are someone who does not give up. You are someone who grows. Keep going every single day. Speak English easily. Speak English naturally. And speak English with joy, because you absolutely can. And you will. Thank you so much for spending these 2 hours with me. Goodbye for now, and happy speaking.